Answer just 3 questions. Are there things that used to make you happy but no longer interest you? Do you feel tired even if you're not doing anything? Do you often feel like you're just fulfilling duties rather than truly living? If you answered yes to at least 2 questions, it may be more than just a bad week. Maybe you need support. Make sure to check the video description. Here you'll find only proven tips for body recovery. If health matters to you, hit subscribe. Meanwhile, watch the video and you'll learn how to deal with a bad mood. Do you know what Scandinavians, the ancient Greeks, and the gut bacteria have in common? They are all directly related to your mood. More precisely, with your resilience to depression. Wait, what bacteria? I'll tell you now. Mood is not just emotions. We often think that a bad mood is a reaction to the external world. We argued with a loved one, didn't sleep well, got stuck in traffic, and it already feels like the day is ruined. But in reality, it's deeper. Our psycho-emotional state is largely determined by internal body chemistry. Sadness, anxiety, apathy are not character weakness. They are a signal that the brain is not working as it should. And in this process, substances with very sweet names are involved. Serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine. Yes, the same neurotransmitters we usually call happiness hormones and motivation hormones. They are like conductors of a big orchestra. They set the rhythm for our emotions, thoughts, and even actions. When everything is in balance, we are resourced, productive, and feel the taste of life. But if the balance is disrupted, the inner compass starts to malfunction. Irritability, fatigue, and a sense of meaninglessness appear. And if this continues, you can easily find yourself on the verge of depression. Now let's understand where all this happiness comes from. You'll be surprised, but about 90% of serotonin is not produced in the head, but in the abdomen. Seriously, not in the brain, but in the gut. That is, the main chemical regulator of mood is not so much a product of thought, but a product of digestion. And that changes the whole picture, because if your gut is fine, you feel more stable, energetic, and calm. But if the gut is inflamed, microbiota imbalance, or lack of certain nutrients, the brain also suffers. Everything is connected. This path from the abdomen to the head. It is called the gut-brain axis. It's not a metaphor, but a real scientific concept. There is constant signal exchange between the gut and the brain via the vagus nerve. And in 8 out of 10 cases, the signal goes from bottom to top, meaning the gut influences the brain, not the other way around. Incredible, right? It turns out your lunch affects how patient you'll be with your colleagues today, or how inspired you'll be with your ideas. Your gut is essentially an additional brain. It's no coincidence it's called the second brain in modern neuroscience. But this brain doesn't think. It feels, filters, and regulates. It monitors which substances are absorbed, which toxins need to be neutralized, and when to trigger the alarm signal. And now let's go back to the ancient Greeks and the Scandinavians. The Greeks were obsessed with harmony in the body, mind, and soul. And they already said, "We are what we eat." They noticed that after a heavy meal, mood dropped. The mind became foggy, and the body became sluggish. Scandinavians, despite the harsh climate, are known for their stable psyche and their low level of depression. Why? First, they traditionally have a rich diet. Fatty fish, omega-3, fermented dairy products, probiotics, berries, antioxidants. Second, they value simple rituals, walks, contact with nature, sauna bath, and cold water. All these factors have been proven to improve the functioning of both the brain and the gut. The result? Stable mood, deep sleep, and high stress resistance. Now think, when was the last time you ate something that truly benefited you? When did you feel that food was not just calories, but fuel for a clear mind and a calm soul? And when was the last time you thought about who lives inside you? Because our gut is not just a tube for digestion. It is a home for trillions of bacteria, and they are not enemies, but partners. They help synthesize vitamins, protect against inflammation, and yes, they produce serotonin, but only if we feed them properly. They don't need chips, sugar, or processed foods. They need prebiotics, fiber, vegetables, whole grain products, fermented foods. Then the microbiome becomes stronger, and that means you become stronger too. Interesting? Hold on, it gets even better, because now you know that depression is not just psychology. It's biology, neurochemistry, and even gastroenterology. And that means it can and should be addressed at the physical level, not just with words. And that is perhaps the most encouraging news of the last decade. So, what to do if you don't want to just hang in there, but truly feel alive? Start with the basics, with nutrition, routine, and body support, but not at the level of a diet starting Monday, but at the level of conscious care for the microbiome, the brain, and the biochemistry of mood. And here's where nutrients come into play. No, they're not magic pills against sadness. They are support for biochemistry. So your internal pharmacy works like clockwork, because if the body lacks something, it can't squeeze resources out of nothing. Like a car without fuel, no matter how much you turn the key, it won't start. Let's start with magnesium. It's not just a cramp-preventing mineral, it's the main antagonist of stress. Magnesium helps reduce cortisol levels, the anxiety hormone. It relaxes the nervous system, improves sleep, and makes us less irritable. And if it's lacking, the brain literally lives in a state of anxious alertness. By the way, magnesium is also needed for the gut. It regulates motility and helps absorb other substances. The next hero, B group vitamins, especially B6, B9, folic acid, and B12. They are involved in the synthesis of serotonin and dopamine. Imagine, without them, the molecule of happiness simply doesn't form. That's why B12 deficiency often causes a state similar to depression, and folic acid is one of the most important components in fighting chronic fatigue and emotional burnout. Have you heard about omega-3s? These fatty acids are not just for the heart. They directly affect the state of neuronal membranes, the coatings of nerve cells. And if the membranes are elastic, signals in the brain are transmitted clearly and without failure. Research shows that people with omega-3 deficiency suffer more from anxiety and low mood. Especially important is docosahexaenoic acid, DHA. It's like oil for the gears of the brain. Now something unusual, tryptophan. It's an amino acid from which serotonin is made. It's found in products like turkey, bananas, nuts, and oats. But under high stress or poor digestion, the body struggles to absorb it. And here is where supplements come in. L-tryptophan, or 5-HTP, a derivative. They provide raw material for serotonin production if the internal factory is in emergency mode. And of course, probiotics. If 90% of serotonin is produced in the gut, it makes sense to support those who make it, the bacteria. Probiotics help strengthen beneficial microbiota, and in return, it helps you feel calmer and happier. In some countries, probiotics are even officially used as part of therapy for mild depression. The connection between the microbiome and the brain is that strong. Did you notice that this isn't about happiness pills, but about supporting the body so it can create that happiness itself? This is not about replacing psychotherapy or deep changes. It's about the foundation, without which even psychology won't work. You can't meditate when the brain is in deficit. And here supplements are not a trend. They are a modern tool for biochemical support. When diet and lifestyle alone can't handle it all, the important thing is to choose quality products with clear composition and no unnecessary extras. So yes, depression doesn't always come out of nowhere. Sometimes it knocks on the door when the body lacks resources to feel joy. Sometimes it's not that you messed everything up, but simply that you didn't give yourself the fuel you needed. And if you know this, you can change a lot. Mood is not a coincidence. It is the result of a daily, gentle choice. How I nourish myself, how I move, how I sleep. And if you add competent nutritional support, resilience grows like a tree in good soil. And then, believe me, depression, if it shows up, won't be able to stay for long. So now you know, mood is not just in the head, it's in the gut, in vitamins, in sleep, in self-care. It's the result of many small actions that you choose every day. The good news is that you really can influence your state, not magically or instantly, but steadily and reliably. Sometimes you just need to give your body what it lacks, and it will surprise you with clarity, calm, and lightness inside. Start with the small things. Get enough sleep. Eat not just to eat, but to nourish yourself. Add a bit of movement. Pay attention to magnesium, B vitamins, omega-3s, and probiotics. It's not an expense, it's an investment in yourself. Give this video a like if you found it helpful,